Well, here's one for you, and kind of out of the realm of the normal things I talk about on my channel. But as I see a lot of things, I do a lot more than just research, and I find out certain things and current interesting topics and science and medicine and all those things I have shipped to me, and I'll go through them sometimes and click on, and it's amazing some of the things that it'll show you here, a lot of which I don't talk about. It ends up being somewhat minutia, and there's probably enough people talking about the current things that go on. But what we have here is a rat, and of course a lot of people don't agree with using animals and it's inhumane and all that type of stuff. But if you were to say, well, our other opportunity is only to use actual children or people that have this issue and guinea pig them, you'd have to kind of opt out to going through this type of manner. But this rat here has had his spine broken. You can see it. It's been severed basically at the C5 joint. So he is basically, from his lungs and heart and things that control that down, pretty much demobilized and actually paralyzed. Much like you think of Christopher Reeves or what happened to him and so on. And he lived for a long time through this. But here's a technique they found within weeks that can fix it. And I'm guessing a lot of it is because they did a perfect severing and stuff like that, and it wasn't a stretched and snapped cord, and that'll probably give differences. But this is quite an advancement in this idea. So let's take a look here, and you can see that this guy can't move any of his legs or his bottom half of his body. But when they do put a 1% solution of graphene nanoparticles and this polymer in, after 2 weeks, he almost has the brain connections going back to it, and you start to see mobility. And it seems to be a little screwed up, but the brain figures out how to correct it, whether or not it's attached to the exact right thing or not. They might even be out of line slightly, but then your brain corrects and goes, well, this controls that, that controls this, and so on. And of course, a real human would have to go through this one time to say that they had to relearn everything, and squinching my toes is now my calf, and doing this is now my that. But after I get used to it and watch them run along, it would be amazing to watch somebody be able to stand up and do this. But all these connections get resevered here, from severing get reconnected, and then within a couple of weeks, literally, this thing is trying to get out of his box and get into the other top part and get towards the food as if something or nothing has ever happened, and they have to put him back in his cage and so on there. And other than discerning in the cage, there seems to be nothing wrong with him. From this point to that point, I think it's amazing. Those amazing Caucasian scientists that keep taking things to another level. You know, I've got a ruined nerve in my finger that I sliced through not too long ago, and it's trying to repair. But I wonder if something like this will be out for people that whenever they have something like that happen, that one of the first things they do is put a little shot of that in there, and it just refixes your nerve. Now that's often a finger, which is apparently much more easy to do in something like your spinal cord, and this gives hope for a spinal cord fix if somebody's in a car accident or God knows what myriad of things you can think of that happen to do so. But this would take people that are confined to a wheelchair up out of it, almost like a miracle. And they're finding advancements too in stem cell therapy, but that's of course is looked at as being even more or less inhumane or whatever, if you will. And so we're left with alternate options, and I wonder if this actually could be done where it's a both situation and something becomes even better or more 100% chance that it comes back to normal. Maybe those reconnections are done in a much better way, things like that, or not. I mean, it just needs to be scientifically checked. And from what I understand here, this is a trial situation. They've got it figured out. It's happened enough times to where they'll actually show something like this. So they're just at the point of actually trials and going to try it on a person that have had this type of thing happen, where the guys look at him and they go, okay, he's screwed unless we do something. Do you opt to try this thing? Yes, I tried this thing that the rats tried or whatever off of it. And if they can get somebody up and walking again, this will be a modern day miracle. So something to think about. Let me know what y'all think down the stairs, which way you go on this type of concept or engineering, looking at type of things in medicine or not. Peace.